Where are you? I know you're not in New York. Where are you?
I'm in Denver.
Oh, you're in Denver. Okay, I'm in New York. That explains the difference in time zones. So,
Yeah, the
Lana,
difference.
let's dive right in. How long have you been in real estate now?
Well, since I started as an assistant in 2008, but I got my license it's 2011.
Oh, so it's been 13 years now.
Mhm.
Quite some
Yeah.
time. And what inspired you to get into real estate?
Well, it's a good question. My background is in law,
Hmm.
and I saw that my partner at the time, he told me that he's gonna go into real estate in 2008. And at first, I wasn't really not happy about his decision to go into real estate. And I said, well, the bills are there in time, commission checks are not. So that's kind
Right.
of hard. Like, why do you want to do this? And so on and so forth. But then after him being 6 months in real estate, I saw how much how much he actually puts into real estate and what exactly real estate can do for him, for
Hmm.
other people that first time home buyers and luxury homes and so on and so forth. Like I kind of started to see real estate a little bit differently. And 2 years in, he kept asking me, like, you should join, you should help me with it. Sure enough, that's what I did. I got my license and I started helping him. And first year was interesting, 2011 for me. But moving forward, 2014, we actually opened up a brokerage. So I was a broker
Oh,
owner. I was the youngest broker owner of Remax worldwide. I've been
wow.
up like 26 or 27, some along those lines, then 2014.
How did you get there in 3 years? How did you get from a regular agent to the youngest broker?
Broker owned.
How did you get there in 3 years?
A business plan. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and everything in real estate is measurable. Yes, the something that scared me a lot, and again, you say 3 years, but don't forget that 2.5 years I was still part of real estate. I
Hmm.
saw how he was working. I saw exactly what was missing from when he was working.
Hmm.
And a lot of people treat real estate as just a job, or they do a lot of sales and customer service. But what they don't do is they don't figure out their financials. They don't plan for next month. How can you plan commission base, right? How can you do that? But I figured out how to do that. And every activity that we do, um, there's a conversion ratio to each activity, right?
Right.
You can hold, I don't know, 20 open houses and have three closings off of it.
Yep.
You can make 100 calls and only have one closings from that.
Hmm.
So that's what I started doing. I started figuring out what are my activities, how much money can I make, and like I said, grew pretty fast. And even with the Remax, the second year, 2015, second year I owned the Remax, I was the fastest growing Remax in a Mountain States region as well. So that is, again, a lot of people look at the real estate as more like sales or they're working with a sphere, which is more of like a customer service. But for me, it's a business, and I
Of
was
course.
able to have my time spent on the financials, on strategizing, what's next, being the CEO of the business, and operations management. And it was just a well-oiled machine.
What were you doing differently from other agents? What separated you?
I had clarity,
Mm.
in my opinion, the clarity of what to do next. I started in real estate. Again, it seems not that long ago, but we did not have online leads. Zillow wasn't a thing back then either.
Right.
So and again, ignorance is a bliss then, because again, I didn't have those online leads. We were more or less using flyers and we were using like more traditional methods. But once again, I wasn't trying to jump on the next shiny thing. A lot of agents do that. It's like, well, here's the Zillow leads. Here is, I'll do some open houses. I'll do this. I'll do that. And they're doing so much and they're getting burned out way fast. For me, once again, I did try to do that for the first year. And I do feel like you have to, but you can't just do 20 open houses or 10 open houses and say it doesn't work. Or with the farming, you can not send out like a 3, 4 mailers and say it doesn't work. you learn from your experience and your mistakes. So what I did, again, in the very beginning, I understood that online leads convert us this much. And that's the clarity I'm talking about, understanding how your business is operating. The open houses bring us that many people. And here is how much of the business we do from our sphere. And I put money exactly where they needed to be and where we produce the most. Um, and another thing that I've implemented that really helped me grow is I don't know if you've read Book Profit First,
No.
but you know how we get the commission check of 10,000, 20, 30,000, and then we put it back in the business, so on and so forth. I set up my business as an LLC right away and grow into the S Corp. I set it up as a business right away, and within the second year, I was able to have my salary paid by the business. And that took off pressure off my shoulders of chasing the next deal, right? So I had a certain salary amount saved for me, for my partner, and if I had later on, I grew to assistants and so on and so forth. But besides my salary, again, per the book Profit First, I put 2% of each sale. Right now it's a 5%, but back then it was 1 to 2% of each sale into the savings. So by the end of the year, no matter what kind of year I had, I could say that my business was 2% profitable on top of my salary. So that's kind of the math of more of a business owner than just the sales and real estate and that next deal. When can I get that next deal? So I had a
Very, very,
clarity of my next step.
very interesting. It sounds like you did a lot of data tracking. You tracked a lot of data, you tracked a lot of stats, which that always helps in pretty much any business. So you're still a broker owner today.
2021, after 8 years owning that, I sold the company.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I am a team lead now. I do have a team within one of the largest brokers here in Colorado. It's Remax Professionals. And well, we have in the office short of 500 agents and I think about like 9 or 10 locations.
Are you the head of the 500 agents?
No. I chose that that's not the route for me. And I do want to impact a lot more agents than that. So I do host events, but I do love the fact that my team is all on the same page. I love the team concept. I do feel like teams are the future.
Yeah.
Well, teams have been around for a while. The real estate becomes rapidly more and more and more expensive. And for individual agent, it's going to be really hard to keep on going. So teams is the way to go.
Yeah, I'm on a team right now and it's going well. Why did you sell the company?
Why did I?
Yeah.
Well, the broker owner is not what it is not what it seems to be, I guess.
Hmm.
I had to give up selling because I am constantly helping agents. And again, with the team, we all have the same mission. With the team, we all have the same vision. We have the same tools that we use.
Hmm.
In the brokerage, it's not the same. In the brokerage is basically everyone has their own idea and they're doing business just the way they wanted to do business. And you have still that 20% of agents that do great business, and the
Hmm.
rest 80, you basically mediating their issues and their problems. That was my experience, and I chose that that's not what I want to do. I don't want to manage agents. What I do want is I want to inspire them. I want to work with them. I want to make sure that they are just the rebels of the industry. And that's actually where the name of the company came from. It's the rebels of the industry. It's a real estate by list. And I want them to be the high quality agents. With the brokerage, I wasn't able to do that.
Very interesting. So how is the company doing now after you sold it? How are they survive? How are they doing?
I have So here's the thing. When people are talking about when agents are talking about I've done 300 deals last year, or brokerage is saying we sold that much in real estate. Nobody talks about profit. Kind of like what I told you in the very, very beginning.
Hmm.
Very beginning was again 1 to 2% of the came into the savings account, and it was like a profit first.
Hmm.
With brokerage, it was extremely hard for me to do that. because again, there's unexpected expenses and
Overhead.
um, again, there's what's next, right?
Hmm.
I did have to chase the next shiny thing to make sure I can bring it to the agents.
Yep.
And it's just like, once again, it's just not very profitable model in general.
The broker owner model is not very profitable.
It is not. It's not. It is just not. I do not know. So it's a different topic, the conversation generally, what the broker owners are
Uh,
about. But broker owners primarily make money on any ancillary businesses. That's what it is. If it's a
on any
title
what?
ancillary businesses, like a title company or a
Mhm.
mortgage company, that's collectively, that's where you can get the money from, I guess. And collectively it works. But now to get to your answer, now I have less agents and I have a lot more profit
Very
than
interesting.
we had. So we've our smaller office, which smaller office then was like 50 agents or so. Even when we had our biggest number was when we were at 36 agents and we sold over 300 million in real estate in 1 year. Again, is it a lot? Is it a little? It's good amount. For 30 agents, it's good amount. But basically each agent got over 10 million or so if you if yeah, the math makes sense. But the profit was not nearly as good as if you had, I don't know, 5 agents and sold 50 million.
Because of the overhead, you're saying.
Correct. Overhead, franchise fee, any of the so CRMs right now as an agent, I'm using my own CRM. There, I had to pay for the CRM to manage the agents, and
Mm.
there's additional expenses. So the how I came about idea of selling it, again, the profit was there. And it's not that it wasn't profitable. It's just such a small margin compared to like regular real estate or team leader. Um, there was a several broker owners that asked me to if I want to invest in their businesses, if I want to buy some of them out, or if I want to be partner with some of them on some of the real estate adventures with them. And I looked at it and I figured out that even with 175 agents, even if I had that, even if I had 5 locations, even if I didn't have to pay as much of the overhead that they currently have. Even if I laid off half of the people, I will be at exactly the same profit margins as I am right now. And it
That's
is not, again, there are there, but it's not nearly as rewarding as being the regular agent or the team lead. And as a team leader, which I had a team then, I had a choice to make. Do I hire office manager or do I hire admin assistant? Do I hire my personal assistant or do I hire transaction coordinator? Is my transaction coordinator should work for the brokerage or just for me? If it's just for the brokerage, she'll be busy for me and my team. So it's just a weighing in those things. And now with having the broker owner, with broker owner, you have expenses covered like front desk or the office or whatever that might be, like the websites and so on and so forth. But being a broker owner, you have to cover that for the agents.
very interesting. Yes, that's the thing. Like a lot of people talk about how much broker owners make, but they don't talk about all the overhead, the offices, the offices too. You have to pay rent for the
Mhm.
offices. Yeah, so
Correct.
you know
Not
it.
only rent, there is a cleaning, there is a like if there's I remember once I was sitting at the closing and somebody freaked out that we not only we had the lights off in our office, the internet was off, and then another assistant texted me that we ran out of toilet paper, that we need to order that if she can do it. And I'm like, why am I trying to figure out Excel a toilet paper as I'm sitting here and making 25,000 on my own deal,
Right.
right? Like when it doesn't even make me that much money. So again, it's a definitely work of passion if somebody wants to be a broker owner. And there are money to be made. But again, just being a broker owner, it's hard. You have to have over a certain amount of agents. You have to have certain model. You do have to have ancillary businesses like I said, mortgages, title companies. If you own your building that you are working off of and you don't have a rent, you might be in a little bit better position. But if you are renting, that's a huge overhead.
Right, because that has a monthly fee, it's thousands of dollars. So yeah, I
It's
definitely
clean, okay,
understand.
it's cleaning, it's maintenance, it's Excel bills, it's water bills, like and whatever else.
Yes, it adds up to thousands of dollars every year. So walk us through a normal day in your shoes. What time do you wake up? Coffee or tea? Walk us through a normal day.
Um, well, it does start a bit earlier than a lot of people used to, but I do wake up at about 4:30 or 5.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. I do wake up about 4:30 or 5. I do go to the gym. I do spend a couple hours, 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours at the gym in the morning, but I do swim and all of that stuff, like sauna, swimming with the meditation, come back with the journaling, looking at my schedule. And I do start my day at about 8 or 9. Again, depends on the day. Mondays are typically do start at 8, Tuesdays at 8, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday starts at 9 or 10. Yeah, but the first 2 days are typically packed. And it's hard to say a typical day because
Every day is
each day of the
different.
week is different.
Yeah.
Um, I do try to do all of my money making activities before noon. If there are clients that need to be contacted, if there are any listings that I need to attend to, anything that makes money has to happen before noon or before 1, no later than 1. Everything else, any creativity, any of the meetings, that happens after 1 o'clock. So I don't take early meetings because this is just for the money making activities because we're in real estate. And in real estate, what can happen is somebody can call you, somebody can want to see a home or so on and so forth. So I do know every day my day basically is done by 1 o'clock, what needs to be done, and
Really?
everything else is a plus.
Really? So after one, you're done working?
Well, there are other activities that I do, like with after 1, I can go for a showing or any listing appointments, anything, all of that is after 1. If there is a creative strike for me and I do want to post something on social media, that happens all after 1. But my money making activity has to be done before 1 o'clock.
It
I mean,
sounds like
sometimes I was gonna say sometimes I do have like Wednesdays. I do work up until 3, and that 1 to 3 window is all of my online lead follow-up systems, all of it. Right. But again, yes, my day is done at 3, like my work day done at 3, but I also start at 4:30 or 5.
what? Well, but working out and exercising, that has nothing to do with money. Right.
Correct.
Right.
Well, it's not, but I'm taking care of the best tool in my tool belt. I am rested. I'm not rushed. Like I said, I'm taking care of the tool belt,
It
the
sounds to
tool.
me like you're maybe halfway retired already.
Um, no, with my typical transactions, as much as I want to go that route, I still do sell. I do work by a lot of it by referral. Between my business partner and I, in 2021 was the heaviest referral year. Just
COVID.
between two of us, we had 92 referrals.
Wow, in 1 year.
So, yeah, in 1 year, just from our sphere. And our sphere is between both of us, it's a little under 250 people.
Well, that was during COVID.
The year after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was starting to slow down. Right.
Yeah,
So
2021 was like I said, the heaviest on referrals. But typically we do get about again, on average, it's about 50 referrals a year. That's a good year if we get 50 referrals. And 80% of our business is referral. So this month I'm probably gonna have about 3 closings. Last month it was 4. So I wouldn't say I'm retired.
right. Well, I mean, when you say you end your day at 3, that sounds amazing to me, but I guess you're not quite retired yet. What is your favorite thing about being a realtor, Lana?
Um, what I like about real estate in general is that you are able to get out of the business as much as you put into it. You cannot do it anywhere else besides being actually the business owner. What you can do is, again, a lot of people, a lot of agents saying that real estate doesn't work. Well, have you really put in as much effort into real estate as you would do in a 9 to 5 job? Um, that's the question I will ask them. If and biggest thing with the schedule, I can ask you as a real estate agent right now, if like how much money do you want to make? And I don't know, let's have that exercise. How much money do you want to make? Let's say, what is your magic number right now?
I mean, are we speaking in terms of realistic? Because I mean, there's really no limit, you know. Like I'm pretty
There
new.
isn't. Mhm.
I'm pretty new, so even 100K would be nice at this point, but
Okay.
there's
So
really
let's
no limit.
I like that. Six figures in real estate, that's a very standard answer. Let's start
Mm.
with 100,000. If if your assistant, the one who does your work, will show you their schedule and their schedule will look like what your schedule looks like today, would you pay them 100,000 for that?
If I felt like I was getting the money back, then
Well, and
sure.
that's what I'm saying. If they will show you your current schedule, like if you look at your schedule and that's what your assistant is showing you, would you pay them 100,000 as a business owner? And if the answer, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but if the answer is no, then that's exactly why you don't get paid that 100,000.
Right.
Because if I can, I hired assistants before. I was commission based still
Mm.
in is it being the broker owner, but I had 5 employees and I have 3 with the company and 5 with the brokerage. So I paid over 500,000 in salaries being in commission-based business. But because this person came in and said, here's what we can do, here's my schedule, right? I know that it will take away so much from my load and I am able to pay them. But if you are not willing to pay for your own schedule, that amount of money, and that's exactly why you're not making that amount of money, right?
Yeah. Right.
If if
And
somebody go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, the first year is always the hardest. Like you said, how was your first year? You did talk about it a little bit, but was it really rough your first year?
First year it was 2011. It was
Hmm.
rough to begin with
Yeah.
because days on the market was 7 to 9 months. And we had a lot of short sales, we had a lot of foreclosures.
Yeah.
So if you get a listing today, it will sell in 7 months. It's
Hmm.
really hard to rely on that. So, but however, in my very first year, I did close 11 transactions
By yourself.
by myself, fresh
Wow.
off the school, without even promise of the online leads.
You were probably working
And
a lot of hours.
on top of everything, I was in my early 20s. I was 24,
Hmm.
25. A lot of people did not trust me. Like I've had straight up people saying, you're too young for this. I would not want to work with you. Right. So
Terrible.
I had to go through a lot of that. But once again, yes, in the very beginning, I've put in a lot of hours, but I've put in a lot of hours very strategically. In the morning, like Wednesday, Tuesday, I remember it's until now. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I've called expired listings from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Those 2 hours were expired listings. You know, Fridays, I've tried to hit for sale by owners for about 3 hours.
Interesting.
And I did not know the concept of working by referral back then. So I've tried as much as I can to hold open houses, basically anything and everything I could do for free. And that's how I got there. Like the first year was good. And then closer to the end of the first year, that's when we got back then it was Tiger Leads. So it's like Boomtown follow-up boss, same idea. But back then it was Tiger Leads and it was something new, the new concept of those online leads. And I bought into it. I had no money whatsoever for that to begin with. There was a lot of, I think it was like 10,000 to buy into it.
Wow.
And average sales price, I remember selling 50 or maximum $200,000 homes, something along those lines. But I still did it. I bought into the online stuff and that kind of took off my career after that.
Yeah, I mean, that actually sounds like a pretty good first year to me. One thing I did notice when I speak to realtors is that in the very, very beginning, they're very, very gung-ho, a lot of cold calling, a lot of door knocking. And then I noticed that over time, it becomes more and more referral based. And then over time, the cold calling slows down, the door knocking slows down, and it becomes more referral based over time. Would you agree with that?
100%. So there isn't, um, how do I even put it? There isn't college for being a real estate agent, right?
Mhm.
In college, you go for 3, 5 years, like whatever people go to college, it depends on the specialty.
Hmm.
But in real estate, that first year, you have to try everything. You have
Everything.
to try everything and try to figure out what you like and what works for you.
Hmm.
Some people stay with expireds, some people stay with for sale by owners, but that's a burnout. That's when you're waking up and you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't know where my business is going to be. I have to make those 2 hours of calls. You just have to, because that's how you're going to get business. And over time, again, the mistake is if you are doing for sale by owner calls or expire calls or open houses, you do not know your conversion ratio. Back to what we discussed in the beginning. I've done all those things and I knew exactly how many closings came from where. But that's what I was again saying in the beginning, treating real estate as sales. You're trying to sell, 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 and hopefully customer service and you keep your sphere around. But do you have the client retention program? Do you know operation systems that will keep them around? What are you doing for this sphere? What are you doing after closing the deal? How do you stay in touch with them? The huge compliment that I've received from one of my clients is he put me on his will. I am a realtor of choice on his will. He bought 7 properties here in Colorado, and I think like 3 or 4 left, but he bought 7 properties here, and I was the one who helped him with every single one of them. And back then they were like 49,000, 50 or 70,000, like a smaller condos. Now we're selling them for more, but he put me on his will as a realtor of
Wow.
choice. And that is a true sphere, but working by referral is an ultimate goal because my idea for my team is within the first 2 years to get as many clients as possible from all those sources. But often there's always going to be 80/20. 80% online, let's say 80% everything else, including online leads, and 20% sphere. And after 2 years, you have to switch. You have to have 80% of sphere and 20% everything else. But you always have to have two minimum source of leads.
Yes, because one is simply not enough. Very, very interesting. Lana, what is your least favorite thing about being a realtor?
Um, Least favorite thing is how real estate pulls us in 10,000 different directions. That's what I try to avoid in the very beginning because I think even if you're not ADD, real estate will make you one. You know,
What what do you
it's
what do you mean? Elaborate on that. What do you mean by pull us in many different directions? What do you mean by that?
well, we have our dates and deadlines. It changed to this year, but before our deadline for the contract was 11:59 p.m., right? So there is no weekends, the evenings don't belong to us, stuff like that.
No
That's what I
holidays.
absolutely, huh?
No holidays.
Exactly. Holidays, right? They just don't, we don't have
They
that.
don't exist.
And about fifth, sixth year in my career, I've had very strict boundaries, but you have to have enough business to create those strict boundaries, right?
Yep.
So I absolutely disliked that. In any business, you have a growth time. You do have to put in your all, and then kind of business is going. Then when you're ready for another growth spurt, another step, you put in that time, you put in that effort, and you've grown, right? In real estate is if you're not around, neither is your business. That's what I disliked about the business, but that's exactly why I've created systems the way I did. That's why it feels like I'm semi-retired. I don't see real estate as a job. I see it as a lifestyle.
Mm.
I might be off at 3, but I might visit my friend. I might go to housewarming. I mean, I remember one summer, we like June and July, we had 4 weddings, 7 baby showers. Like we were just going from party to party to party.
Uh, uh,
Like we went for Christmas, we went to 4 different parties in one day, and we got 3 referrals out of those parties, right?
really?
So it's just
Real hot leads?
we closed all of them.
Wow.
So that's the goal. Because as soon as you see real estate is your lifestyle, yes, like I said, I'm making money. I'm doing my job until 1 o'clock. But real estate is a lifestyle. I don't see it as a job. It's a business, and you have to treat it as such. But I feel like it's a lifestyle.
No, I agree because like I said, there's no sick days, there's no vacation days. It's not a job. You make your own schedule. Especially in the beginning, like you have to live it in the beginning because otherwise, yeah, if you don't answer that text, they're just gonna go to the next guy. So that's how it
Correct.
works. So you got to answer that text, you got to answer that call. Lana, how has the real estate market changed since you first started?
We touched based on it a little bit. When I started in real estate market, we didn't have multiple listing services
Hmm.
even.
No
And when
MLS. When did MLS start?
um I honestly don't know, but I remember maybe around that 2010-ish,
Okay.
something like that. But I remember, like I said, when MLS first started, it was by the minute. We had to open up MLS, type everything that we needed. We had a clock on the bottom, and we had to like type everything in so we don't pay extra or whatever, like
Oh,
close
you
the
were
tab.
timed.
Like
Interesting.
metered, not even timed, metered what we use.
And
Yeah.
you had to pay for MLS fees. So,
Correct, but like I said, it was metered. So every time, if you use 10 minutes on MLS, you pay a certain amount. If you use 30 minutes on MLS, you pay more. So we were metered on MLS when we first started. And with, again, it's 2008, 2009, 2010. We didn't have smartphones. The BlackBerry was it,
BlackBerry. Yeah.
right? So it's changed tremendously. I didn't start with online leads. I didn't start with Zillow. I didn't start with smartphones, social media even, right? None of those things were a thing when I started.
Right. Well, also, it gets harder and harder to buy a home. Every year, the prices of homes go up. It gets harder and harder. So I would imagine that that also affects the agents, no? Like, because if people don't have the money to buy, then how can the agent get business? So would you say that it's gotten harder over the years for that reason?
No. There's a couple of things. There is market. So I do believe that market is always good. It really depends for who. So people are always buying, people are always selling. During COVID was the most busiest year that I've had. And I've had it was over 500,000,
Wow.
for me in
Wow.
commissions, but it's nonetheless, people are buying even through COVID, right? Even through so let's say that market that everybody said it was really bad in 2008, right? The prices were low, people were losing homes. But if I'll tell you that, let's go to, I don't know, any Porsche dealership, everything is half off. Is that a really bad dealership? It isn't. Same thing with real estate. Everything was half off. You could buy a house if you fog a mirror. We had a program that's called $100 down program. Do you have $100? Go buy a house, right? But that's what brought us to foreclosures. So then when we had a lot of foreclosures, the market was really good for the buyer, but then it was really good for the government. Now, right, it was really good for the seller a couple of years ago. Now we're back to interest rate versus price. Bottom line is market is always good. It really depends for who. And
Mm.
when you figure out who market is good for, that's what your lead source should be,
Well, right now
right?
it's a seller's market, no?
Not anymore.
Whose market do you think it is? Who is it good for right now?
Right now, it's really good to invest. Right now, it's really good for the buyers. Any end of the year, starting October, it's really good for any of the investors. And the interest rate, because interest rate is so uh, so high, lenders have certain lending ways to bite down the rate. It doesn't have to be from the seller.
Hmm.
They baking into that deal certain things that they can get the interest rate down. Builders, I'm about to get under contract with like a 2 bedrooms, 2 bathroom townhome that is 1,200 square feet at 3.75, 30-year fixed,
Wow.
right? It's crazy. And the interest rate is not interest rate. And the monthly payment is below, I mean, it's 2,300, which again, for $400,000 home, that's nothing here at least. And builders, they need to get rid of the inventory. So they are definitely doing crazy deals. That interest rate drop, we thought is going to be really good for the buyer. Um, but, well, for the buyer to purchase. But so are the sellers. Sellers thought so too.
Yep.
And we have 3 times more of inventory because seller thought the buyers would want to buy. But buyers are waiting after the election. And right now we are at the kill switch when it comes to
Hmm.
buyers. That
Hmm.
is why prices are dropping by 5, 10, 20% so fast. And historically speaking, if you look at it, um, even starting with early 1990, 90s, something like
Uh,
that,
uh,
the first year after the election is typically the busiest. So we know historically that the next year will the prices of homes will go up by 3 to 5%. The only year it didn't happen, it was 2009. But everything else, even if you look at as recently as 2020, the 2020 was, yes, it was a pandemic, but even that, we had some of the areas in the market grew by 50%, and it was 2021, the year after the election. And if you look back, you'll see the pattern. So right now it's really good to buy until the end of the year. And I think seller's market will start in February.
very interesting. So it's like constantly flip-flopping back and forth. And
Correct. And that's what that go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say the elections are always changing the whole entire economy. Like gas prices are really low right now, so elections always change everything. But what were you gonna say? I'm interested.
Well, you asked if it's harder right now, and I don't think so. Market is always good, really depends for who. That is one rule. And the second rule, when people are asking me, when should I buy? I tell them that there is never a wrong time to buy, but there is a wrong time to sell. So whenever you buy in real estate, everybody said even in 2020, why do you buy? Like it's COVID, it's dangerous. People had good prices, good interest rate. 2021, are you crazy? You overpaying what, 100,000 over appraised value? Like that's a horrible market to buy. But now those people are sit on 2%, 2.5%, right? So looking at 2022, well, we wait for the prices to go down. Did they? They didn't. So it was good time to buy yesterday. There's 2 days. I don't know if you've heard that phrase, but there's two best days to invest when you were born and today. So, so that's kind of the rule of thumb. There's never a wrong time to buy. There is a wrong time to sell, however, like right now, if you don't have to sell, don't sell. Wait until February. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's different. I wouldn't say it's harder. Um, it's just simply different.
My favorite takeaway was your quote. There's never a bad market. It just depends on for who. That's a lot. There's a lot of wisdom in that quote, and I definitely agree. Lana, where can people find you?
Well, definitely Instagram. It's Instagram. There's two different places, and my personal Instagram is Lanabuildslegacy. It's something that I am passionate about for agents or for my clients. And my team is, you see it here, it's a Rebel Home Team. That's another Instagram
Yes, I'll put all
handle.
the info below. Lana, it was so great talking to you.
Nice meeting you.
Have a good one, Lana. Take